Alright guys, let's get to it. We'll start with some static upper body stuff, make sure our lats are good to go. As always, we'll open up our squat. So let's start with the puppy dog, you guys. So quadruped on your hands and knees, reach out nice and far, elbows straight, and then drop it down to the ground. Working for straight elbows, spread open your fingertips, and reach out nice and far. Breathe into it. Go ahead and relax. We'll go right into thread the needle, so reach through and then get nice and flat to the ground. You can rest your head on your opposite arm. We'll hang it about 30 seconds.
Andrew.
See that? We'll switch it up, thread the needle, other side. Go ahead and relax. We'll go prone, so on our stomachs. We're going to go twist and cross. Right arm out to the side. Push yourself over. Left foot comes flat to the ground. Twist and cross. Right arm out. Left foot comes flat to the ground. I think we're good. Reach out nice and far with that right side. Right arm stays straight, about shoulder height, you guys. Palm flat, shoulder height with the arm. There we go. And then push yourself over, step over your right leg with your left leg, and bring your left foot flat to the ground. Hang out and enjoy. A little bit, yeah.
That's kind of funny. You see at basketball how they have the fans like faces on the side. It's pretty interesting how they did it. I didn't see it I saw it in baseball. They have a little cardboard kind of. So basketball looks like they're in a
And we'll switch it up other side.
hockey arena. So it looks small, like it's right on top.
Left arm out nice and straight, palm flat, hand about shoulder height. Step over your left foot or your left leg with your right foot. Your right foot comes flat to the ground.
And the reactions. Yeah, their bubble is pretty interesting. They've done a pretty good job, actually, it looks like. Well, so they're all basically like zooming into. Yeah, like their best fans are zooming in. And in fact, they had their families announce them at a couple of the games. And they're like, little kids are like, number 22, Ricky Rubio, my dad. And it's super cute. Yeah. They're doing pretty good at baseball. It's crazy. That's weird. Yeah.
And go ahead and relax. Let's go one more position. For our shoulders, we'll go seated. Let's get a crab position hold. And then we'll get into our normal warm-up. So feet flat, elbows straight. Get some good shoulder extension by popping your hips up. Open up your bicep. Open up that shoulder extension. We need it for our rows today.
So is last year basketball like year is just a loss? No, that's this year. They finished. They're in the playoffs. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you're a fan, the funny thing is we have games going off at 10:30 our time. Because they're playing all day long now. For the next like month. For the championship. Because they make it court time.
And nice job. Go ahead and relax. Let's hop up.
And we'll start with 10 bodyweight squats when you guys are ready.
Right now it's like 11:30 in the afternoon. So do they switch?
10 squats when you guys are ready. Just normal stance, nothing fancy here.
They said let's go. So it's first round right now. When it gets to like the final 4 of them, I'll probably watch, but I think it's just kind of interesting.
Lando, work on those knees. Try and open them up as you're squatting. There we go. After your squats, we'll go through our normal arm series. We'll start with arm hugs. Hands at shoulder height, hug your body briefly, really just tapping your shoulders for a second. We'll get 10 reps, 5 with each hand on top. From there, we're going into long arm swings, one hand on top, one hand on the bottom. Work for straight elbows, belly that stays tight. Heavy hands. We're thinking nice heavy hands. And then Egyptians. Working for elbows that are nice and high. We're looking towards that top hand and we're taking our time through that internal and external range of motion across the shoulder. And from there, nice wide stance. We get sunrise good mornings. We'll go 2 each way. 2 each way on the sunrise good mornings. Oh, yeah. After sunrise mornings, you guys can bring your feet together. We'll go right into hand walks. We're going 2 forward, 2 backwards. Hand walks in place. 2 forward, 2 backwards. Oh, yeah. We're doing those hand walks. We're going baby makers, butt high, elbows back. I'm keeping my hips high, in line with my shoulders. Use my elbows to my advantage. We will be squatting in our conditioning portion today, you guys, so you will see some squats. Hips are nice and high right here. Derek and Lando, probably pick up your hips a little bit. There we go. Nice. And now we'll drop them down into a prayer squat, so nice deep squat. Big chest, neutral spine. Use your elbows to your advantage to drive open your knees. Work to stay upright. Balanced feet. All the squat stuff we know. Go and squat out. Let's get 3 position. We'll get 3 nice and wide, 3 in a normal stance, and then 3 in a narrow stance. 3 wide squats, 3 normal squats, 3 narrow squats. And from there, we'll go right to push-up position. We got goat stretch. Just 1 on each side. Goat stretch in place, or always in place. 1 on each side. We're dropping those elbows down. Hang out for a second or 2. Enjoy that lizard pose. Pick up your back knee. Rotate in. Rotate out. Drop your back knee. Point to the back wall. Then single leg handy. Just 1 each side. Elbows down to start. We get that rotate towards the front leg. Rotate away. Drop your back knee, get nice and tall, wrap around. And then single leg hammy to finish it off. Oh yeah. From there, you guys, hopefully we have our trainers set up and ready to go. Let's hit one more thing, then we'll get into our strength positions. And basically, it's just going to be like a standing puppy dog. Trainer goes overhead. You guys can change your angle as you see fit. And just open up. You guys can go wide with the hands. We can go narrow with the hands. Just play with your shoulder position. Make sure your belly stays tight. Lean into it. This would be kind of like our dead hang. Open up those shoulders, lats, all that good stuff. Work for straight elbows. Try not to just be soft like this. Elbows stay nice and straight. Reaching as high as you can. Butt stays tight. We're not sitting back with the butt. And my belly stays nice and braced. So I'm trying to tuck my ribs. I'm trying to tuck my ribs as I lean into it. And again, you guys, you can play with your angles. You can go all over the place. Very similar to that high lizard pose where you guys are walking all around. Do whatever you want to do. Wide hands, narrow hands, rocking side to side. Just make sure you stay stable in the shoulder. Everything's fair game here. You guys can go ahead and relax. Let's start pumping up our shoulders. We'll get our orange band. Orange band. Band's tied in knots. Orange band, here we go. Orange band, we're going to go star pulls. We know these. My recovery position is right here every time, so I'm pulling from this position every time. Go single length or double length. We're going 15 on each, alternating. Which hand is on top? Which hand is on bottom? Belly stays tight. And really, you guys can play with your angles here as well. You can go a little bit higher if you wanted to. You go a little bit lower if you wanted to. The biggest thing is just stay away from our standard pull apart, which is just right at shoulder height. So play with your angles. Everything's fair game here. We're just trying to get our shoulders going for a little bit of overhead in the conditioning, and then a lot of pulling for our strength. 15 on each, you guys. 15 on each. Go to your recovery position every time. I don't want you guys just driving a big school bus. Recover and pull, recover and pull. 15 on each. Yeah, that's good, Derek. Once you have done 15 on each, we'll stick with the orange band so it's nice and light, and we'll get shoulder tees. So 1 or 2 feet on the band, that's your choice. You can increase the resistance with 2 feet, and we'll go shoulder tees. We're going to go for 10. These should not be real tough. Elbows stay straight the entire time with this light band. That should be pretty manageable. 15 on the shoulder tees. So from there, you guys, we'll go orange band at our midpoint. And this won't be like a crazy hard movement or like a real pump movement across your shoulders, but this will be positioning wise, all right? Especially as you get into handling barbells, dumbbells, and stuff like that in the future, this will be a very important movement. We're gonna go band external presses. So basically, I'm gonna have my orange band, I'm gonna get into an externally rotated position. Really what that means is I'm gonna have my hand over my elbow. And if you see me from the side, I'm like this, almost like I'm flexing my bicep, all right? From here, I'm trying to press straight up against this resistance of the band and back down. And get as much resistance as you want. Like I said, not real tough, but your goal is to press in a nice straight line as opposed to have that band pull you all over the place. So set yourself. When you're ready, elbow stays directly under your hand. Press overhead, come back down. We're going for 12. And when we do these resisted presses, where the force isn't pushing down, but it's at an angle or something like that, the most important part is your overhead. So you guys can hold this for a second. A hold's never going to hurt you. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to get up here and just pull back down. This is where the value is. Because when it comes to handling other objects, this is where people get unstable and shifty. We got 12 on each side, you guys, 12 each side. guys are still doing the press, make sure my elbow stays under my hand. I don't want to just be pressing from random spots. I know the resistance is not a ton, but I'm trying to have a good tracking of my hand and my elbow position as I press. Once you guys have done 12 on each side, we'll get into our midline. We're going single leg V-ups alternating. We're getting 15 on each side. So from the supine position, both hands to the right, both hands to the left. Accumulate 15 reps on each side, alternating sides. Pick up your shoulder blades on each rep. Don't just allow your scaps to hang out on the ground. Pick up your shoulders and reach, and then come back down. When you guys are done with that, we can start setting up for our strength. We'll need a low point attachment. I want you guys to have your red and your orange band at that low point. Red and orange band at the low point, ready to go. And we'll get to those in a second. So low point attachment, and then we need our trainer set up as well. We're gonna do some rows on the trainer, and we're gonna do some elbow extensions on a low point attachment. That low point really should just be below your knees. I want it below your knees. If it gets down to where it's like flush with the ground, that's totally fine. But below your knees is really the only real priority for that. As you guys are setting up, I'm going to chat about what we're doing. We're doing some single arm rows. So on the trainer, we're going to go single arm rows. We've done those in the past for our strength positions. I'm going to get 10 on the right, 10 on the left, and they're going to follow that up with a normal double arm row for 10. So it's going to end up being a total of 30 reps. 10 right, 10 left, and then 10 with 2 together. And we'll alternate which hand we start with. All right, so we go into it fatigued on either side. So one thing on the trainer, you guys, if you do have some of these bigger handles, it can be tough to just grab both the handles with one hand. I know it's kind of tough to see. So just loop one handle through, and then you can grab only the top one, and you're still nice and stable. I don't know if you guys can see that. I mean, you guys will make it work. One thing I wouldn't recommend is don't just grab. I want to have pull from both sides of the trainer, so don't just grab one and lean back on this. You can put a lot of stress on the equalizer loop. So I want you guys to loop one through, and then grab the top one. That's what's going to work the best. Sorry I'm so far away. Let me get closer. Sorry, now it's going to be in slack, so it may not make tons of sense. But so as opposed to just hanging on to one and the other one's just in space, loop one through the other, and then grab the top one. So in turn, I'm only grabbing one because the other one's underneath, and that'll be super stable and strong. Does that make sense, you guys? And test it. Lean back on it. Make sure it's nice and strong. All right? So get your trainer ready. We're going to start with these single arm rows. Sorry that took so long. Got to find the right angles. All right. So on the single arm rows, just keep in mind, they're tough, right? So do an angle that's going to work for you. You may actually go at a higher angle for the single arm and then a lower angle, even though you're fatigued, when you go back to the double. So let's do it. Set your handles up. Make sure they're nice and stable. Give it a little lean back. And we'll start on the right side first, you guys. Right side first. Find your angle. We're going 10 single arm rows. Once you've done 10, switch it up, hit the other side, also 10. Once you've done your 10 and 10, go to 2 hands, right back into it, 10 more. And once we got that first one out of the way, it'll be much smoother from here on out. 10 single, 10 right, 10 left, and then 10 doubles. Finish those off, you guys, and from there we'll go to our low band attachment. Red or orange. Red should be good for most people, but go to orange as needed. We're going to go overhead, elbow extensions. So my elbows will stay tight to my body. I'm going to step out into a staggered stance just so I'm nice and stable. And from here, extend overhead. We're going for 30. Change the resistance as needed to get all 30 reps unbroken. Get your 30. Should be a nice pump across the triceps. I'll have some things to say to a couple of you guys. So if you're in, I'd recommend probably just going with the red, just because it is such high volume, and I want you to be able to lock out your elbows. So don't go so heavy that you can't lock your elbows out. And Gail, you have your orange into your red. I just want you to have just the red on its own, because the orange into the red is going to make it probably super light and just have way too much elasticity. All right, so maybe swap that out. I think everyone else is pretty good on that. All right, back to the trainer, you guys. We're going to go 10 on the left, 10 on the right, and then 10, 2 together. So total of 30. Let's do it. Set your handles up. Once you're good to go, you guys can get started. We don't need to stay super tight-knit as a group for these rows. I'm not super concerned about that. Ten on the left. Ten on the right. Unloop your handles, and we'll make it a bilateral movement. So 2 hands, go right into it. 10, 2 hands together. Whew. Nice, Viren. Good, John. Gail, for these rows, I'd like to see your knees bent a little bit and feet stay flat on the ground. So maybe walk forward a tad, bend your knees, and then lean back. Good. Make sure your hips are tight so it's a nice straight line from your knee all the way up to your heel. I saw a shoulder. There we go. From there, we'll grab our bands, probably a red, maybe an orange as needed. We're going 30 reps again. 30 reps again on the overhead elbow extensions. As you fatigue, keep your elbows tight. Oh, one more thing, you guys. I don't want your hands here. I want you to have space, shoulder width between your hands, so you can finish at shoulder width as opposed to being excessively tight. All right? Maintain some space. We're going for 30. Elbows stay tight. Don't flare them. Don't flare your elbows. I don't want shoulders going. I want elbows, triceps. Yeah, there we go. Adjust your resistance to get all 30. Yeah. Woo. And this will also be one. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with tricep movements. This will also be one, you guys, in which I want my elbow to stay in the same spot. Make sure you're not moving your elbow up and down as you do these. Let's wait for everyone to finish, and then we'll go back to the trainer. We'll kind of sync back up on the trainer. Finish it off, Gail. Good. Finish it off, Viren. Lock out those elbows, so nice straight elbows at the top. There we go. All right, you guys, let's head back to our trainer. We'll go back to the right side first. So right side, left side, and then two together. Let's do it. Loop those handles through each other a couple times, so we're pulling on both and not just one. And then we're rowing right side first. Once you've done 10 on the right, we're going 10 on the left. And then 10, 2 together. Unloop those handles. Finish it with 10. Oh yeah, that feels good. And we still got lots of time. Finish off those reps, you guys. Make sure they're challenging. Don't make them too easy. We have 2 more on the triceps, 1 more on the row, then we'll move on, then we'll do our conditioning. Let's finish your last bilateral 10, so both hands together. Let's go to our band. Remember, you guys, I'm here, not here. Elbow stays in the same spot the entire time. I don't want to be moving it all over the place. Let's do it. I'm going to go to an orange because my triceps are friggin' shot. Do what you got to do to get those 30. Yeah. Nice job, John. Remember, you guys, we were trying to lock out our elbows every time. When you guys are doing these overhead movements, if the band's ever like hitting you in the face, typically more space will help that as well. If I get too narrow, that band's like gonna nick the back of my head and stuff. So have some space in between your hands. All right, last set on the rows. Left, right, then together, 10, 10, 10. Last one. Loop those handles through each other a couple times, so we're pulling on both and not just one. I know I said that every time, but just a reminder. 10 on the left. Ten on the right. And then 10, 2 hands together. Finish it off, last set. I know it was a lot of times through this cycle, but 2 good movements. 2 really good movements. Should have a nice pump going on across your triceps and your back. That always feels good. Yeah. All right, finish those last 10 on the rower or the trainer. Let's go to our band. Last set of 30. Last set of 30. Knock it out. Have some space between your hands. If what I'm saying doesn't make sense to you guys, just check out my hands. I'm not here. I want a little space. So I'm choking up the band so I have a solid shoulder width grip on that band. Going for 30. Lock them out every time. Lock at your elbows every time. Yep. Woo. Good job. When you guys are done, I think we're gonna go. Let's go blue and orange at the top, and we'll go red at the bottom. So now we need to have a low attachment. So you guys don't have a low attachment set up. We already have one because we did our triceps. So I want red at the bottom, and we're gonna go blue and orange at the top. So around your trainer, nice and high. So we have 2 bands high and 1 band low. Red low and green or blue and orange up top. All right? Red stays low because we're already using it. And these guys are going up top. And no special looping, just hook them on so they're by themselves. And I'll explain what we're doing as we're setting it up. So check it out, you guys. I have my blue, which is also green, same one, and orange up top. I have my red down below. And we may need to put our orange down below. Some of you guys may need to do that. That's totally fine, but we'll approach that when we get there. So we just did a horizontal pull. Now we're gonna go vertical. So last week we did a vertical pull hold. Now we're gonna rep it out. So we're gonna go for 20 reps. So I want you guys to sit literally as close as you can so this can be very, very vertical. I'm pulling here. I don't want to be angled so far back that I'm pulling here and I'm doing that same row. So you guys can either choke up like crazy or use both bands. But sit down nice and close, and we're going for 20 lat pull downs. You guys see that okay? I'm sitting nice and close to my door, trying to keep this as vertical as possible. If you guys are set up, you can get to it. I just want to check people out. And now we're bending our elbows. Our elbows are not straight. I'm pulling my elbows almost down to my hips. Gail, that's perfect. Janet, perfect. Viren, you look good. Or a good setup, I should say. We're going for 20, you guys. 20. Yeah, we nailed it. Beautiful. So this next movement, you guys, we're going to use the red at the low attachment. We did this last week. We did a standing variation, which a standing pull down. But now I'm going to do this in a supine position, so on my back. So the trickiest part of this movement, you guys, is just getting set up and finding tension in the band. But once I'm there, literally, I'm lying on my back. I'm reaching overhead. I pull down to my waist and then back. Elbows have got to stay straight. So check it out. You'll find some resistance across your band. You're going on your back. And from here, I'm going from overhead to my waistline for 25. Make sure you have adequate resistance, you guys. So back out as needed. I'm a little close just so you guys can see me. My next set will probably go farther away. 25, you guys. We're staying with high volume. Straight elbows the entire time. Yeah, Viren, that's perfect. The biggest thing is just make sure you guys have some resistance. So Viren, if you go into slack when your hands are overhead, it's probably a little easy for you. Just make sure it's challenging. Make sure it's tough. And obviously the toughest point will be once your hands are at your waistline. Gail and Lando, that looks good. Derek, good. We're looking good. John, awesome. We're going for 25, you guys. We're staying high volume because band work, obviously the resistance won't be crazy heavy. This is one of my favorite things to finish with on a back and tricep day because it's going to be the definition of back and triceps working synergistically to move my shoulder joint. All right, so pull throughs, pull downs, pull overs, whatever you want to call them, are awesome. I guess we're going to run through this series 2 more times, then we'll do our conditioning. So it's busted out. We'll go back to that vertical pull down, that lat pull down. Get yourself situated. When you're ready, we're sticking with 20 reps. Sticking with 20. Let's try and keep our pace going, you guys. Don't slow down too much. Keep it vertical, so nice and close to your wall. Elbows down to your hips. On the pull downs. Viren, pick up your chest. So when you do these on your next set, try not to be hunched over. Work to stay tall. Pick your chest up, eyes up too. Yeah, you're pulling from there. Once you have done your 20, we're going back to the low band, you guys. Now that you have some experience with this, make sure you have adequate resistance. So walk it out fairly far. Roll over to your back. And then knock them out. We're going for 25 again. Obviously, you can choke up on the band as needed. Straight elbows, you guys, straight elbows. That's going to get the tricep engagement that we want. $25. Oh, that feels bad. Nice, Viren. That's a much better set. I like that. Good, John. When you guys are done with these, we're going one more time through. We'll stick with 20 and 25, and then we'll explain our conditioning and we'll knock it out. There is one movement we have to go over, but it's not a very hard movement. Not very technical, I should say. So, when you're done, let's get set up for our vertical pulls. Last set of 20. Last set of 20. Vera and Gail, nice job. And once you guys have done 20, low point, we'll do a final set of pullovers. We're sticking with 25. Find some good resistance there. 25 on the pullovers. Whew. Finish those pullovers, making sure those elbows stay straight as you fatigue. John, that's a great job. And from here, you guys, we will need our Bulgarian bag and our jump rope, and we'll start our conditioning. It's only 6 minutes, so nothing crazy, but we'll be a good gasser. We're gonna squat, so we're gonna get our legs going again. Jump rope and your bag. So with this bag movement, you guys, this will be one time we're not going to use the handles to our advantage. We're literally just going to cup the bag with our hands, almost like it's a medicine ball, if you're familiar with wall balls or any type of med ball work. And we're going to do thrusters. All right, so let me just make sure this clock is going. All right. So a thruster is going to be, really with any object, it's going to be a squat to an overhead. All right, so I'm finishing like I'm doing like a shoulder press or something. I'm finishing overhead, all right? Elbows are nice and straight. And our goal is to cycle through these at a pace that is manageable, like nothing crazy, but also allows us to hit our positions and not rush through it. So we're squatting down, our elbows are tight. I drive up overhead with my barbell, my dumbbell, my sandbag, whatever it is. In this case, it's our Bulgarian bag. So it will be cupping the Bulgarian bag with our hands. And from here, I'm squatting and finishing overhead. And again, we've worked on squats so much, you guys, it's pretty simple movement. One thing I will say is make sure your handles are pointed straight up. Like cup it so it rolls into itself and not behind you. It can be tricky, requires some decent hand strength, but I don't want to be doing it like this. Cup it so it's straight up so it mimics a wall ball, mimics a medicine ball, so it wants to go up and down and not fall backwards into you. Yeah, and bring your hands fairly close. I mean, you guys will feel what's going on. It actually works fairly well. It actually does mimic a med ball pretty well. So I think everyone's already done one. Can you guys just show me, let's just do this. Let's go about 1 or 2 minutes. Can you guys give me 20 jump ropes, so just 20 singles, make sure our calves are ready to go, and give me 5 on those thrusters. 20 jump rope, and then 5 on the thrusters. And jump rope, I say singles. You guys can do whatever you want, but singles are fine today. Good, Janet. Give me some jumps, you guys, and then give me a couple thruster examples so I know we're solid on that movement. And again, compared to the cleans that we did yesterday, the thruster's easy. It's no big deal. Find something comfortable with the hands. And this is a squatting movement, you guys, so don't neglect your squat. I'm still opening my knees, work to stay upright, all that stuff. Don't neglect it just because we're focused on going overhead. I'm still squatting. That's still my #1 priority. Yeah? Beautiful. Good. So again, with a lot of these bag movements, there aren't any real strict rules, so do what's comfortable. I kind of gave you some guidelines that I find comfort with, but do what feels good as far as your hands and being stable overhead. All right? We're going 3 rounds. 1 minute jump rope, 1 minute thrusters, and we're gonna repeat that 3 times. So each round will be 2 minutes. There's no rest in between any of these, you guys. So we're just going back to back to back to back. All right, then we'll have some time to stretch. So we're starting with jump rope, you guys. This shouldn't jack us up too much. Try and last the entire minute. Go ahead and grab your rope. And we are going in 3, 2, 1, let's go. 1 minute of jump rope. Halfway. $20 seconds. $10. 5, 3, 2, 1, thrusters. Halfway. $20. 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. Jump rope. $30. 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. Thrusters. Woo! $30. 15. 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. Last round, jump rope. Let's finish it off. 20. 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. It's time. Thrusters. Last 30. Hang on, come on. 15. 10. 5, 3, 2, 1, time. Oh! All right, you guys know the drill from my class. We'll go right into that straddle. This is the easy one to recover in. Try and start taking control of your breathing by slowly transitioning to nasal. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, and then try and make a full transition to all nose breathing, all nasal breathing. 1 minute in this straddle. Thirty more seconds. Nice job. Let's hop up. Let's grab a band. We'll get some shoulder extension. Standing. So red or orange band. I mean, all bands work fine on this one. Doesn't need to be super light or anything. And we'll go standing in our J curl position. So we're rounded across the back. The bands are all nuts. Hands about shoulder width. Don't let them get too wide. And from here, let those hands go. Oh yeah. Keeping that bicep nice and healthy. All right, we got a good pump on. We did a new movement today. 2 fairly technical workouts in a row. You guys did awesome. Oh, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. See you, Viren and Val, Derek, John, Tom, great job. Gail, Lando, awesome as always. See you guys.